Around 9 months ago, I went from looking like this at 120 pounds to this 35 pounds later. If you've clicked on this video, then you're probably where I was when I first started lifting. Wanting to pack on some muscle, some size, and some strength, and not just be another skinny kid. And as someone who's already gone through this process, I want to show you guys exactly what I did to bulk up and still stay relatively lean throughout this process. But first off, why do we even bulk? Well, the reason that people bulk is because bulking is the most efficient way in gaining the most muscle and strength in the shortest period of time. And yes, you do gain some fat along with the muscle, but for most of you guys, this probably isn't even a bad thing. And besides all the strength gains and the muscle mass that you gain from doing it, one of the biggest things is actually just feeling better about yourself. I remember when I was really skinny, I didn't like to take my shirt off in public. I didn't like to take my shirt off at the pool or at the beach. I always wore one of those, tight swim shirt things because I didn't like how skinny I was. I wasn't proud of my body. And a lot of you guys probably feel the same way, where you're not totally confident in your body or how you look. When you gain some mass and some strength and some size, you'll start to see that you actually feel confident in your body. You like how you look. You feel better and more sure of yourself. Now that we know why we bulk, what is bulking? You might be thinking that bulking is just eating more, and it kind of is, but more specifically, it's eating over your maintenance calories. Eating more calories than your maintenance calories. Your maintenance calories are basically the amount of calories you need to consume in a day to maintain the same weight. And when you consume more calories over your maintenance, you gain weight. It's actually really easy to find your maintenance calories. You can either go on an app or on a maintenance calorie calculator, and it will just spit out a number of calories that you need to eat in a day to maintain the same weight. So now that we have all of that out of the way, let's get into the actual meat of this video. The first thing that you should do is find your maintenance calories and download a calorie tracker app on your phone so that you can track how many calories you're eating every single day. This is a good habit that I should have done from the very beginning. It actually is just the best way to know 100% that you are going to gain weight. Otherwise, you try to think about it or eyeball it and you don't really know how many calories you're eating. And I'd also recommend weighing yourself every single morning to see if you're on track for whatever goal weight you have in mind. So actually, before you go any further, pause the video and figure all that stuff out right now. When you first start bulking, you have to realize that as a skinny young person, a skinny teen, you can actually put on a lot more weight, a lot more mass than somebody else could. If you're around my age, you're a teenager and you're skinny right now, the best thing to do when you first start bulking is to actually bulk a little bit more than you think, to eat a little bit more over maintenance than you think. You're skinny, you're probably a little bit underweight. There are some pounds to catch up on. At first, you kind of need some mass and some size to get going, which is why bulking like 500, 600 over maintenance isn't terrible if you're really skinny when you're first starting out. Now, when you start approaching not really being skinny or underweight anymore, what I would recommend is that you start clean bulking, which is basically clean, lean bulking, which means that you're eating clean, you're eating relatively healthy. Dirty bulking and eating a ton of calories isn't gonna really help you, and there's no point in doing it if you're a teenager. So you're eating clean, but you're also lean bulking. This is what's gonna allow you to stay lean. Keep that leanness that you had when you were really skinny, but have it when you're bulked up, when you have some muscle mass. I think this is the best type of bulk that you can do at this age because it allows you to stay relatively lean, look pretty good, but also gain a lot of muscle mass. But what is lean bulking? Lean bulking is pretty much eating a little bit over your maintenance calories, not a lot of calories over your maintenance. You're looking at 200, 300, maybe 400 calories over maintenance. I would probably say on the lower end of that, because what some people don't realize is that the muscle that you build from bulking, only a certain portion of those calories that you eat over your maintenance is actually going to get turned into muscle. The rest of it gets turned into fat, which is why the most optimal way to bulk is to lean bulk. You're not going to gain that much more muscle if you're eating a ton of calories. If you're dirty bulking, you're going to gain nearly the same amount of muscle and less fat by lean bulking. So at this point, you kind of have the roadmap set out for you. You should know your maintenance calories, how many calories you want to be eating in a day. But now, how do you actually go about gaining this weight? Well, actually, one of the most important things is switching how you eat. Because a lot of people just like to say, eat more, eat more. That's all you have to do. And yeah, in the most basic form, if you want to gain weight, all you have to do is eat more. But for a lot of people, this advice just gets annoying and discouraging. You see, I realized that I was eating like a skinny person my entire life. I always took one portion, a pretty small portion, never really got seconds, never ate a lot. I ate barely anything. I didn't eat very much, which is why I was skinny. You have to start thinking about it more, consciously deciding that you are going to gain weight. You are going to eat more, you're going to get a bigger portion, you're going to eat faster, you are going to get seconds. You need to start thinking in the way you need to when you are bulking, right? If your mom and dad makes you food, ask them, hey mom, hey dad, can you make me more food? I want to eat more. Make it easier for yourself, because right now you have the habits of a skinny person, the eating habits of someone who is underweight, and you need to have the eating habits of somebody who is bulking, which is basically just eating more, eating faster, getting more on your plate, getting seconds. These are the habits that you need to have when you start bulking. A lot of the excuses of skinny guys or people who are trying to gain weight and just can't is that it's too difficult and that they eat so many calories. They eat so many calories during the day, but they just don't gain any weight. We make excuses because, yeah, it is difficult to gain weight. It's hard to keep eating and eating and eating until you reach your goal. But when you have the whole thing set out for you, when you know exactly how many calories you need to eat that day, when you know your weight goal, what you're trying to get to, it's pretty simple. But for most people who have always been skinny, it is uncomfortable to eat a lot. It is uncomfortable to bulk because you're going against what you have been doing your whole life, the eating habits that you have had your whole life. But you need to get uncomfortable. Get another plate of food. Eat more than you feel like sometimes to reach your goal. The main thing that you have to do is just reach your calorie goal every single day. And if you can do that, you will gain weight. You might have everything set out, know exactly what you have to do, but then just not end up eating enough. And in order to gain weight, all you have to do is get to that calorie goal every single day. And even though it's difficult, you need to focus on it. Every single day, every single meal, you need to be focusing on what you want, on the goal that you are trying to reach. And then you will make progress. Honestly, from what I've seen, the skinny guys who are able to successfully bulk up are just the guys who take it more seriously, who care more. You need to care a lot about this every single day. Take it seriously every single day, and then you will see results.